Hello, welcome to the place on the internet I talk about comic books. This is take number 5 or something. It was an effort of mine when I started this channel just to kind of be better at speaking on camera. I've been doing podcasts for a long time and I just can't seem to get a natural rhythm to my voice, can't seem to do it without too many ums and uhs. And I figured more would be better, right? It's the same way if you're trying to learn a language. I'm trying to immerse myself a little bit. So even though I wanted to give up after take 4 of brutally difficult to listen to commentary, I am now trying again. So I'm going to try to be concise this time. It seems to be that when I go off the path, what the weave, as Trump calls it, I don't weave very well. So we'll try to keep it succinct today. I just wanted to talk about a thing that was in larger pop culture news that affects me as a comic book guy, and maybe I could weigh in on it without getting into the morass of culture war stuff, which I find that it so often does, because I'm talking about video games today. I work occasionally in video games, contract work, lowest rung on that ladder. I don't pretend to be an expert at all. It's a fun gig when I have it, pays well, but I'm not qualified to speak on video games in any real way. I play them. Occasionally I write them, but I don't, I'm not qualified. So the thing I am qualified to speak on is selling a luxury product to as many people as possible, because comic books are a luxury product. They cost more than people think they should, and nobody technically needs them. Luxury products. Same thing with video games. So I'm going to use a word that I don't use very often and never heard spoken out loud until I was in my late 20s. So you're going to have to forgive me. Fiduciary. We're going to talk about fiduciary responsibilities today. Okay, so God of War announces a new game with a different lead character. The different lead character is a woman, and she looks like any woman that you would meet in real life. Some people have a problem with this. Because it feels agenda-driven. Why couldn't you just make the woman attractive is the question that they have. And then other people counter with, hey, you do know that not every woman on earth is attractive, and it's not requisite to a video game or a narrative of any type that the character is good-looking, or the actress portraying somebody is good-looking. And then things get coded left and right, and people dismiss each other, drop out of the conversation, and not a lot of goodwill or what you might call not a lot of nobody's challenging themselves with this very much. It's you dig in and that's your position, and it's based on probably your voting record to some degree. So I don't have shit to say about culture war nonsense. I don't care. You guys can fight out in the street for all I care. But that fiduciary responsibility, again, bear with me as I show. In AAA video gaming world, that would be to the shareholder. In my world, it's to the team that I work with, right? But there are responsibilities. So is that game leaving money on the table? But it's too bright. It was too dark earlier, too bright now. Is that team leaving money on the table by not having an attractive lead? I think most people, even if they are about games as art and believe that the people responsible for the games can make them any way that their artistic demands, artistic desires might take them, I still think that any honest broker would say, yeah, it leaves money on the table. You'd make more money if you had like a firm butt that you followed all around, right? It seems to be the case. I don't think there's any data that contradicts that. So do you have to put a firm butt in every game? Then becomes the question. Well, I have just a practical view of this, where they've got responsibilities. They are accountable to shareholders. So in that light, I think you'd have to put a firm butt in basically everything you do, because if you don't, you are not living up to your fiduciary responsibilities and not maximizing profit for the shareholder. in creator-owned comics, we have some version of that. For example, EPHK and I, thank you everybody for picking up Tigress Island. In the making of Tigress Island, we came to a decision. We weren't going to do some of the variant schemes that do, in fact, pump comic sales. So incentive covers and retailer variants. We didn't do them. We probably left between $3,000 to $8,000 on the table. Let's say, no, 5. Definitely, certainly 5. so at least 5, could have been more. And look, we all need money, but it was a collective decision, myself and EPHK. Okay, we're fine with leaving that money because we'd like to run a little bit of an experiment on doing things the way that we want to do them. And who knows? Honestly, it could go either way. Maybe the book did better because it had a sort of clarity in that way. Who knows? But this is all back to, if I made a unilateral decision and left a ton of money on the table and I had to say to EPHK, hey man, I don't like it this way, therefore we're going to make 10 grand less. That man works 6 times as hard as I do, 8 times as hard as I do, in terms of man hours, etc. How am I supposed to look him in the eye? I have a fiduciary responsibility, right? To my team to say, hey, if we do this, less money. And to make that decision unilaterally would be irresponsible. So I guess what I'm saying is, in all these conversations about, attractive leads, sexualization, all these things that people get hung up on the sort of the philosophical, and then they try to tie it to the art, but a lot of people talking don't know art from the hole in the wall, but they try to make it about everything else except for the money. And we all have these, we're all accountable to somebody in life. We all have these responsibilities, even if it's just your partner, like your wife, your husband. We all have these responsibilities. So this is all to say, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You can say, hey, games are an art first endeavor where whatever the passion of the people making them, we have to support that. But you can't. And you can hold that position. And along with it, you have to say, and any money left on the table is whatever it is. It's immaterial because art is primary. But what you can't say is that you're not leaving money on the table. That's dishonest. I know because I've put out books with less attractive leads and attractive leads, and one goes better than the other. So this is a concise 8-minute long video. That's my version of concise, saying, hey, why not look at this through the lens of incentives and make decisions and live with those decisions and be honest about those decisions, regardless of whatever medium you work in. And I wish the God of War game all the luck in the world. I've got scripts that have nothing but ugly characters in them, but it's going to be a long time till I get to them because I have to build up a rapport with the readership before that. Maybe God of War has that rapport, and they say, hey, we're just going to put a very normal-looking lead, and people are going to buy this anyway. We trust our audience. Maybe. But it's all just to say that you got to come down to earth. You got to be reasonable people about the material conditions of living on earth, which is money. That was a quick one. Trying to be a better speaker, not getting there very fast, but I'll try to be here every week as I have months off from regular touring. Thanks to anybody that views, And thank you for picking up Tigress Island. Order Regicide issue 1.